Ever wondered if you and your partner are truly compatible? Are you both on the same wavelength or just going in circles? In the dance of love, compatibility is the rhythm that binds two souls together. It's the unseen force that makes a relationship feel effortless and enjoyable. You see, compatibility isn't just about sharing the same hobbies or having the same taste in movies. It's about sharing the same values, the same goals, and the same vision for the future. It's about understanding and respecting each other's differences, not just tolerating them. Now let's talk about the first sign of an incompatible relationship: lack of communication. We've all heard the saying, communication is key, and it couldn't be more true when it comes to relationships. You see, when communication lines are open, you're able to understand your partner's needs, desires, and concerns. You're able to resolve conflicts in a healthy, productive manner. But when communication is lacking, misunderstandings start to creep in. Small issues become big issues. Resentment starts to build. Imagine a garden. A relationship is much like this garden. It requires care, attention, and most importantly, communication. Like sunlight to plants, communication is the life source for any relationship. Without it, the relationship, like a neglected garden, begins to wither. Misunderstandings and resentment, much like weeds, begin to grow, choking out the love and joy. So if you find yourself constantly guessing what your partner is thinking, or if you're not discussing your feelings and concerns openly with each other, it may be a sign that you're in an incompatible relationship. Of course, communication skills can be learned and improved over time, but both partners must be willing to put in the effort. It's not about pointing fingers or playing the blame game. It's about understanding that good communication is a two-way street. Remember, good communication is the foundation of any strong relationship. It's the bridge that connects two hearts and two minds. So keep those lines of communication open. After all, a relationship without communication is like a garden without sunlight. It simply can't thrive. Moving on to the second sign, you don't share common goals. Now, this is a big one. Imagine trying to sail a ship where the two captains have different destinations in mind. It's not just about whether you want to live in a city or the countryside, or if you prefer dogs over cats. It's about your larger life goals. Do you both want children? How do you feel about career versus family balance? What's your stance on financial planning? If your answers to these questions are poles apart, you might be in for a bumpy ride. Sharing common goals doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. It means that you have a shared vision of where you want to be in the future, and you're willing to work together to get there. It's about finding a common ground and making compromises where necessary. When you don't share common goals, it can create tension and conflict in a relationship. You may find yourselves pulling in different directions, which over time can lead to a growing divide. Now, let's talk about the third sign: constant arguing. We all know that disagreements are a part of every relationship. They're a way to express our individual perspectives and understand each other better. But when these disagreements become a daily occurrence, it's a different story altogether. Frequent arguments can indicate a lack of understanding and empathy in your relationship. It's like you're speaking different languages and just can't seem to understand each other. If you're constantly trying to prove your point or win an argument, it's likely that you're not listening to your partner's viewpoint. This can create a hostile environment where both of you feel unheard and unappreciated. Remember, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about understanding each other and finding a solution that works for both of you. If you and your partner are constantly at loggerheads, it might be time to reassess your compatibility. Because at the end of the day, a relationship is about teamwork, understanding, and shared dreams. Without these, you might just be two ships passing in the night. The fourth sign of an incompatible relationship is you don't enjoy each other's company. This might sound harsh, but it's a reality that can't be brushed under the carpet. It's a telling sign when you'd rather spend time alone or with others than with your partner. This isn't about needing personal space. We all do. It's about not finding joy or contentment in your partner's presence. Imagine you've had a long, exhausting day and you're finally home. Who's the first person you want to share your day with? If your partner isn't the answer, then that's a red flag. It's normal to want to share your highs and lows with the one you love. But if you're more inclined to seek solace elsewhere, it could be a sign of a deeper issue. Now let's move on to the fifth sign. You feel unhappy. This is a big one. Relationships are supposed to bring happiness, right? But what if you're feeling the opposite most of the time? You might find yourself constantly irritated, sad, or even angry around your partner. You might feel a sense of relief when they're not around. If you're nodding along to this, it's time to take a step back and evaluate. Feeling unhappy doesn't necessarily mean you're in a toxic relationship. It could be that you're just incompatible. When we're with the wrong person, everything feels off. The conversations, the silence, even the laughter, it all seems forced and unnatural. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. No matter how hard you try, it just doesn't work. Remember, it's okay to feel unhappy sometimes. We all have our bad days, but if you're feeling down more often than not, that's a strong indicator of a deep-seated issue. Maybe you're not on the same page, or maybe your values and goals don't align. Whatever it is, it's important to address it. A relationship should bring joy and happiness, not constant sorrow. If you're feeling more sadness than joy, it might be time to reassess. After all, life is too short to be with someone who doesn't make you happy. The sixth sign to watch out for is lack of trust. Trust is like the root system of a grand old oak tree, silently supporting and nourishing what's above the ground. When trust is lacking, the relationship, like a tree without roots, is at risk of toppling over with the slightest wind of disagreement or misunderstanding. Trust isn't built overnight. It's a delicate structure that strengthens over time through shared experiences, open communication, and consistent actions. But once that trust is broken, it's like a shattered mirror. Even if you manage to put the pieces back together, the reflection will never be the same. Now let's move on to the seventh sign. You don't support each other. Support in a relationship isn't just about cheering for your partner when they've achieved something great. That's the easy part. True support is about being there for each other during the tough times, the mundane times, and every little moment in between. It's about being your partner's cheerleader when they feel like they've lost their own voice. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. Your partner is your climbing buddy. You're connected through a rope of mutual respect and understanding. If one of you stumbles, the other is there to pull you back up. But what happens when that support isn't there? You're left dangling on the edge, alone and afraid. The absence of support can lead to feelings of resentment and hurt. It can make you question the value of your relationship. In a nutshell, lack of trust and support can slowly erode the foundation of a relationship. They are like termites that gnaw away at the wooden beams of a house, weakening it from the inside. It's important to recognize these signs early and address them before they cause irreparable damage. Trust and support are integral parts of a healthy relationship. The eighth sign is, you don't respect each other. Respect is not just a fundamental value, it's the lifeblood of a healthy relationship. If you find that you're constantly belittling each other, not valuing each other's time, or disregarding each other's feelings, it's a clear sign of disrespect. Mutual respect means acknowledging each other's boundaries, appreciating each other's individuality, and valuing each other's views. Without this, the relationship may be on shaky grounds. Moving on, the ninth sign is, you're feeling drained. Relationships, by their nature, should be a source of joy, comfort, and energy. They should lift you up, not bring you down. If you constantly feel emotionally exhausted, or if you are always on edge around your partner, it's a strong signal that something is not right. A healthy relationship should energize you, inspire you, and make you feel good about yourself. If the opposite is true, it's an important sign of incompatibility. Lastly, the 10th sign is, you can't see a future together. This is perhaps one of the most telling signs of all. If you can't envision a shared future, or if your plans for the future just don't align, it's a clear sign that the relationship may not be viable in the long run. It's essential in a relationship to have shared goals and dreams, to want to walk in the same direction together. If this is lacking, it might indicate a fundamental incompatibility. In conclusion, compatibility is key for a fulfilling and long-lasting relationship. If you notice these signs in your relationship, it might be time to reassess and take steps towards improvement. Remember, it's not about finding the perfect partner, but rather about finding someone whose flaws you can accept, whose dreams align with yours, and who respects and values you for who you are. After all, relationships are not just about finding the right person, but also about being the right person.